Hey everybody! I told you that I would post a video on how to start your assignment for the coordinates assignment, and so here we go. I'm going to keep this relatively short, and I'm going to help you get started with one for sure. We'll see how far we get with one, possibly two of the assignments that you have to do. Okay, so the first assignment we're going to look at, and again, these are posted in Canvas, so you can take a look and find them there. We're going to look at the absolute coordinates tutorial first, okay? So I'm going to show you how to start a brand new blank file, and then I'm going to show you how to start these and maybe do one or two lines, and then hopefully that will get you through them, okay? So this one is the absolute coordinates tutorial, and here are the steps to begin this tutorial. So we're going to use the line command, we're going to use absolute coordinate input, and then we're going to use all of these different coordinates, which also, kind of correspond to these different points to create our shape here, okay? So we are going to start at 1, 1, we'll go up to 1, 6, right? 1, 6, over to 3, 6, 3, 6. We're going to move this direction. Now, of course, if you feel very comfortable with using coordinates to draw things, then you could start here and you could move this direction, right? There's no right or wrong way, okay? So here is the image of your assignment. I'm going to pop over here to AutoCAD, and this is just the startup screen for AutoCAD. I'm going to start a blank file by clicking on Start Drawing, and by doing that I get a blank file here. Okay, so I'm going to flip back and forth between this PDF and my AutoCAD. Enter the line command at the command prompt. You could also press the icon for it, and then we're just going to start inputting these coordinates. Now we're going to use absolute coordinates, which means it's measured from the origin, and we'll start with our object here being at 1, 1. Okay, so I'm going to go back to AutoCAD, and I'm going to click on line. You could also type LINE at the command line and hit enter, and then I'm going to specify first point by typing, let's see, 1, 1. Okay, when I type just 1, 1, that starts at 1 increment over 1 increment up from the origin, which is this object. Enter. Okay, now I want to remind you that if you have a bunch of input at your cursor, which I don't have here because my computer is set not to have that, it's called dynamic input, right? So if you have something like this popping up, to turn that off, you're going to toggle this dynamic input off or on. Okay, and if this is not showing up on your screen, you're going to go to these little 3 lines over here. Oop. Sorry folks, I think my little recorder is in the way. There we go, customization. It's not popping up. For some reason, mine is kind of being restricted for whatever. I think it's because this is in the way. But if you click on customization, there will be an option for dynamic input, and you're just going to put a check mark next to it to make this little icon pop up. Okay, so I've turned that off. I don't want to see it. If you do have that turned on, it may affect how you draw this. So if you're trying to draw it and you're getting a ton of errors happening, then you'll want to just turn dynamic input off. Okay, the next coordinate we're going to input is 1, 6. So I'm going to type 1, 6, enter. There we go. Oh, it looks kind of small, right? You might be tempted to say it's wrong, but you're not wrong. I'm just going to pan over, zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now I have my origin here, and you see this is 1, 1 right there. Okay, this is a little deceiving because it looks like I have 1, 2 increments and 1, 2 increments, this grid, and that's because the grid behind us here is set at 1/2 inch increments. Okay, so I'm seeing 2 of those, that means that's an increment of 1. 2 of those, it's an increment of 1. Okay, my next one is 3, 6. So I'm going to type 3, 6, enter. And I would just continue on that way. 3, 4, 3, 4, enter. And I would do that whole shape. Okay, I can hit escape to get out of the line command. If I needed to restart, I would just click on line again and enter that coordinate, right? Which was, let's see, 3, 4, 3, 4, enter, and I could just continue on, escape, escape. If I needed to delete something that I had created incorrectly, I could click on it and hit delete. I could click and select also this way and hit delete. I could hit Control Z, and things come back, okay? Now to save this file, you're gonna go to File, Save As, okay? And you're gonna save this in whatever location you want it to be saved. And you're going to name it Absolute Coordinates Tutorial. So I want each of these relative coordinates. I want these to be all named, and this is tutorial 2, right? This is tutorial 1. I want them all to have these names, okay? So I'll do one instance of this relative coordinates, and then I will stop this video. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to start at point 3, 3.25, okay? And then point B is going to be 1.5, 0, okay? But here's a little hint. We are creating a relative coordinates object here. Relative coordinate, of course, means that you are measuring not from the origin to create your points and lines, but you are measuring from the point that you previously created, okay? So to create point B, you're going to say at 1.5, 0, which is from point A over 1.5 and up and down 0, okay? And it's really that at symbol that designates the relative coordinate input, okay? Now, these angles will be created automatically when you just input from B to C and C to D. I had a question about how to create these angles, and if you're inputting a relative coordinate, by inputting those, you create that angle. You don't have to use like a polar input to create that, okay? So from here to there, that will be generated. Now this is relative and polar here. So in this instance, and in this instance, when you're drawing this, you do have some angles that you're going to have to input, okay? And this is a direct entry coordinate exercise. And why don't we just edit this PDF? Let's actually organize it. And we are going to rotate it. There we go. So this one, you'll start here and you're going to move, right? And in this case, this is a 45-degree angle, okay? So this is going to be, that looks like a 45-degree angle as well, okay? If you are questioning some of these angles, these are going to be a 45-degree angle. And if it doesn't work out, I would, maybe start here and work around, get to that point, and maybe start here and then work backwards to get that angle. There's another way of going about it, but these are 45-degree angles, okay? So in this case, let me start this one. I'm going to start at point A, which is 3, 3.25. Okay, start a new drawing. Okay, let's do actually L, enter. I'm going to do 3, 3.25, enter. So that starts the first point. And 3, 3.25. B is from this starting point A, 1.5, 0. And I have to use that at symbol to make sure that it measures from that first point, okay? So I'm going to go to, let's see, 1.5, 0. I'm going to type at, I have to remember, sorry guys, 1.5, 0. At 1.5, 0. And I have the at symbol in front of it, 1.5, 0. Enter. Okay, so that draws that. We're going to come back here. The next one is going to be at 0.5, 0.5. And it doesn't matter if you put that 0 in this case, right? And the next one's going to be at 0.5, 0.5. Enter, right? And you see, because I input that correctly, it moved over half, up half, and we get that angled line segment right there, okay? So continue on, make sure that you remember the at symbol. If something doesn't work, like you type in 0.5, 0.5 here, right, and I don't get that angle that was correct, what has likely happened instead is you forgot the at symbol and it went over 0.5, up 0.5, and your line started here, right, or ended here. So just make sure that you're thinking about how you're entering things, okay? If you have any more questions, send me an email. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday and we can answer any questions. Thanks, guys.